You all saw it in the thumbnail, so yes, I added goats to the end. This is the second episode in my series to make an entire end update for Minecraft, so if you haven't checked out the first episode, I highly recommend that you do that. Anyways, let's jump into all the new stuff I've added today. If you remember in the last episode, I was following along my building process with an acronym I made, and we were still on the first step, ecosystem. The first new thing in that department I changed is the lights inside of the trees to be blue. Why? Well, firstly because after working for a while, I realized everything was purple. This was purple, this was purple, this was purple, even this was purple. Everything was purple. And second, I think blue is a cool accent color for purple. Plus, the color wheel seems to agree with me. So, boom, they're blue. Right now, the only plant on the ground was mushrooms, so I decided to add another plant. Is it just a retextured rose bush? Maybe, but it makes the place look cooler, so we're going with it. I then finished placing all the trees in the forest area and also placed the mushrooms and rose bushes around the lake. Now, in the Nether update, all of the biomes had these different colored particles that float around in the area, and I really liked the effect that created. So I thought, I should do that for this biome. So I started setting up hundreds of command blocks that would spawn these particles all over the area, and after laying out the bajillionth command block, I realized I was never going to get this done. But luckily, 1.17 came to the rescue. If you weren't aware, Minecraft 1.17 came out recently, and it gave me access to a whole bunch of really cool new blocks. One of which being the Spore Blossom, which just so happens to spawn particles in the area it is placed. So I retextured it and threw these plants all over the bottoms of the trees, and I have to say, this really did add a cool effect to the biome. So, Spore Blossom for the win. I was looking around at my really cool new forest that had a lot of really cool new stuff in it, and then I looked at the lake near it, and realized that it was really empty compared to the rest of the forest. So I designed another new coral fan that could go into the lake. But it still felt kinda blah after placing all the coral, so I retextured seagrass to match my new complementary color blue. And I also decided to retexture the drip leaf plant, which is new from Minecraft 1.17, which I also made blue. I placed these in the lake, and things were already looking a lot better. All these new plants definitely made their lake feel more alive. My next step was adding another new mob into the biome, end rams. And at first I was just going to retexture goats and throw them into the biome as end goats, but I decided to do a little remodeling work on the horns. I made them much bigger and curlier to resemble the horns of a ram. I then just took the new model and retextured it to fit the biome I was making. And just like that, the forest had a brand new mob. I then went in and started writing out some super cool and awesome code to give these rams and their new properties and stuff, but when I went in and tried to upload it to the world, this happened. So, I'm not really sure why that happened, so until I can figure that out, I can't add my super cool coding into the game. At this point, I was pretty happy with where my ecosystem was at, so I decided to move on to the next step in my acronym, new rewards. I then realized I don't have any ideas for that, so I moved on to the next part of the acronym, discovery. I wanted to make an old, infested cave-type looking thing that you go out and find to get some loot in this biome. So that's exactly what I made. I basically just dug out a hole and threw together a hodgepodge of blocks and stuff until I ended with this. It's basically just like a cave with loot. I don't know what loot yet, but I'll figure that out later. I then realized the entrance to this cave was pretty dumb, seeing as it is literally just a hole. I wanted the entrance to be a little more hidden, so I took one of the new 1.17 blocks, the big drip leaf, and I retextured the top of it so it looks like the corrupt Nelium. So now, whenever you are walking around in the forest, you may come across the secret entrance into the cave. You can spot these entrances if you look really carefully, because the entrances are a little lower down to the ground than the rest of the ground is. Once you find an entrance, all you have to do is stand on it, and then you will be dropped down into the secret caves. So I finished up the discoveries part of the acronym, and that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. In the next episode of the series, I will finish up creating the biome, and then possibly begin working on the next biome. If you want to see the full finished version of this biome, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And thank you all so much for 100 subscribers. I'll see you all next time.